Pontiac Fiero. You got a Pontiac.
Hi, thanks for checking out this segment of my Fiero 3800 build video. In this video, I'm going to go through the steps I took to remove the stock Supercharger pulley using the ZZP Pulley puller kit. I'll be replacing my pulley with a 3.4 pulley and hub. I decided to use a hub-based pulley so it would be easier to replace again if I ever decide to upgrade again. I believe the 3.4 pulley is as small as you can go without having to change the injectors and cam. I will also go through and change the spark plugs with ones that are more appropriate for this type of setup. I hope you find this video helpful, and please like and subscribe to keep up with the latest Fiero videos. Thanks for watching, I hope you find it useful. Alright, now the first step of actually swapping out the Supercharger pulley is actually pulling the pulley off. Now to do that, you're going to need an impact wrench. And in my case, my air compressor died recently, so I picked up one of these portable ones that will hopefully have enough torque to get this off. So we're going to go ahead and try and remove this bolt and see how a electric impact gun works. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and remove the bolt, and in order to do that I'm going to use a 13/16 socket. I've tested a 21mm, seems to fit pretty good, but the 13/16 was definitely a more fitting fit, so I'd probably go with that. I'm going to go ahead and cinch it down with a belt to help hold it in place. And you could probably pull this off with just a wrench, but I'm going to use an impact wrench just to test it out. Alright, here is the bolt that we pulled off. It is a vented bolt, so it should not be substituted with anything else. And now we're going to go ahead and use our ZZP pulley puller and pull off this pulley. Alright, before we actually pull the pulley, we're going to go ahead and set up our pulley puller from ZZP. First step is we're going to take the biggest bolt you see in the kit and we're going to apply some anti-seize to it. And we want to do about 3 inches all the way around. Alright, I think we're good. Make sure you do about 3 inches. You definitely can't miss this step, so make sure you got anti-seize on hand when you start this project. Alright, now we're going to take the set pin and screw that into the center of our 5/8 rod. And we want to make sure all the threads are in so they're not exposed. Alright, now we're going to take this plate and we're going to stick this nut in. Then we're going to take the bolt we put anti-seize on, we're going to feed it from the back in, and screw it into the nut from behind. We want to screw it in just far enough to clear the nut in the plate. So we've done that. Now we're going to place the small washer over the end of the alignment tool pin. We want to make sure that the washer does not fall off when installing the top of the plate over the pulley, and the anti-seize should help to hold it in place. Alright, now we're going to set that aside and we're going to get this plate out. We're going to install this on the back of the pulley along the snout. This is tapered, so make sure that you're using the correct side. Alright, now we're going to install our plate, and the plate actually has a hole. We want the hole to face up or towards us because we're going to put a bar in here to help leverage the pulley out. So we're going to go ahead and slide this into the snout. Make sure the pin and the washer are in the snout, and then we're going to start feeding our bolts in. Now I'm going to take a 19mm and just kind of snug them up. I'm going to angle this at a 45 just so I can start getting it ready to be in the position I want it to be in. When you're cinching down the bolts, try and make sure you keep the plate as flush all the way around as you can and level. We want to try and have even pressure on the pulley. Once you get it all cinched down, you have this slot here where you're going to use your rod that came with your kit, and this will help act as your leverage against the effort you're going to put on the wrench. As for a wrench, I'm going to use a 24mm socket, and according to the instructions, this could take quite a bit of effort. An impact gun is not recommended, so get to do it the good old-fashioned way. I heard a little bit of a pop. I think that's a good sign. This does take quite a bit of effort. Ah, success. There we have it. And this is the snout with no pulley on it. Alright, now we're going to add a little bit of anti-seize to the shaft. You can also use oil. If you have oil, you can put a little bit on. Alright, so we're going to reuse our 5/8 shaft for installing our hub or pulley if you didn't get the hub. So we're going to have to remove our nut and get this off the plate. There we go. Alright, then we're going to thread the nut mostly up the shaft. Alright, we'll start there and see if we need to make any more adjustments. Alright, now we're going to replace this with the threaded one that comes in the kit. Alright, now we're going to put the bearing on, followed by the large washer, like so. Alright, then we take our hub or pulley, if you're using a new pulley, and we slide that on. Now we're going to thread the 8mm bolts into the snout so it's tight. And kind of get this a little bit closer so we're set. We want to make sure that this is flush, like so. Alright, I'm going to use my 24mm socket for the rod, and then it's a 15/16 wrench for the nut. I don't have one, so I'm kind of stuck having to use an adjustable wrench. Now we want to make sure that we keep the rod and the socket parallel. We don't want to spin the rod, only the nut. So it is advised to either have someone help you hold the rod and the socket still while you turn the wrench, or if you can prop the socket wrench up against something to prevent it from moving, then that'll help. So I'm going to have to improvise and see how it goes. So if you have a buddy, which I never do, they're going to help hold the wrench, or you can improvise. I am using the arm for my engine hoist, so that's my buddy today. And now we're going to start tightening the nut to get the hub on. Once you get enough tension, you want to hold your pulley so it doesn't spin while you turn just the nut. And I can feel the hub pushing onto the snout, so it's a good sign that it's going on nicely. Alright, that feels like it's solid. There we have it. There we have it. Flushly mount. We just got to put our pulley on and then put our last bolt on. Alright, now we've got our 3.4 pulley that we're going to put on. So we're just going to line it up with the holes here and we'll screw it on. There we have it. You just got to put the last bolt on. There we have it. We have our 3.4 pulley on. So now I'm going to move on to changing the spark plugs. When you do a pulley this size, you have to use a colder spark plug. I've got these auto lights here. They are 104s. So that's what I would suggest. If you can find an AC Delco of an equal size, I'd go with that too, but I actually had to pick these up off of Amazon, so this is what I'm going to use. It's the Autolite 104s. So go ahead and put those on. I'm not going to spend too much time doing it because it's just changing spark plugs, but it's part of the process that goes along with upgrading the superchargers, so we're going to do it. So let's go. Alright, to do this job we're going to use a 5/8 spark plug socket. Alright, interesting development. I can't get this spark plug out because the alternator's in the way. I've tried it with just the socket, I've tried using an extension, and I just can't get it. So, latest development, I guess to change this last spark plug, the alternator needs to come off. Not that big of a deal, just take the belt off, the bolts, and we'll get it back on track. But just thought it was an interesting development. Didn't realize that. Maybe it's just mine engine, or maybe it's something that other people have experienced before, but just thought I'd share. Alright, now I got the alternator off. Should be pretty easy to get this off. It took less than 5 minutes to get the alternator off. Now go ahead and put the alternator back on. all set to go. Alright, there we have it. We did the 3.4 pulley upgrade. We've changed out the plugs to the appropriate plugs for a pulley setup like this. So I think we're ready to move on to the next step, which will be some miscellaneous hookups here and there, and then we're going to try and move the engine over to mount it to the transmission. So thanks for watching, and please like, subscribe, and share with anyone you might know that could benefit from these videos. And we'll see you next time.